Momentary Troubles, Chapter 1 Serendipity on Huhang Railway, Episode 3 The train is approaching Jianqiao Station. While studying in the United States, even American girls rarely had the opportunity to attend university. Upon graduating from high school, she happened to be sponsored by the Women's Missionary Society of North America, providing partial tuition and living expenses, as well as a one-way boat ticket to send a Chinese pastor's daughter who had passed the examination to study in the United States. Yan Baohui followed Lydia Howe, a female missionary returning to the United States on furlough, University of North Carolina. At the time, China was in great need of pharmacists proficient in Western medicine and English. So Lydia suggested that she study pharmacy. During her freshman year, she received a scholarship and worked part-time tutoring missionaries in learning Chinese. The year she graduated, she obtained her American pharmacist license. While riding on the Shanghai-Hangzhou Railway, Yan Baohui's mind drifted back to the past. She felt her life was a tragic comedy. She wondered that what would have happened to her, an orphan, if she had fallen into the hands of Thénardier, the innkeepers in the novel Les Misérables. But her tragic life had a comedic twist. After losing both her parents, she was sent to live with Pastor Yan and his wife. While their family wasn't wealthy, their 3 children received a good education. The youngest was even given the opportunity to study in the United States. While still there, she understood that, thanks to the help of many others, she could embark on this path. After her parents were killed by Japanese bombing, she considered returning to China to participate in social work. After graduating from university, she fortuitously received a scholarship from the American School of Social Welfare Administration, enabling her to pursue a master's degree in sociology. She returned to China at the age of 25. However, upon returning, she found that most women at her age were already mothers of several children. She, still single, without a father or a mother, felt deeply miserable, as if the comedy had ended. On the train, Xu Yongdao saw her, newly returned to China after completing a modern American education. She was a new woman, a blend of Eastern and Western influences, embodying the refined elegance of a Chinese lady, combined with the knowledge and insight of an American intellectual. She possessed the purity and youthful spirit of a fresh graduate, waiting to be married, full of longing. Xu Yongdao, a military officer in his late 20s, grew up in Shanghai. He graduated from Xuhui Public School and attended Aurora University the following year. Coincidentally, The Central Military Academy was recruiting students in Shanghai, so he applied and was successfully accepted. Based on his ambition and academic performance, he was accepted into the aviation program at the Central Military Academy and subsequently selected to study flight training in France. From elementary school to his sophomore year, he attended the French Catholic school in Shanghai, where most courses were taught in French. His French proficiency was much higher than Yan Baohui's, who had only taken a few French courses in middle school and university. The train rumbled by, drawing near to Hangzhou. The 8-hour journey from Shanghai to Hangzhou, with stops and starts, flew by quickly. If, during that time, the thought of death, as one might expect, caused by my love to fade, then longing for love, had helped me overcome my fear of death, for I understood that death was not uncommon. On the contrary, I had already experienced several death times since childhood. Hadn't I, in recent times, valued Albertine more than my own life? Back then, I couldn't imagine whether I could still survive without her love. Xu Yongdao pondered the words from À la recherche du temps perdu, remembrance of things past. Lost in thought. Suddenly, someone said, "We are almost at Jianqiao Station." Jianqiao Station, in Jianqiao Town, was 10 kilometers from Hangzhou Station, the final stop where was Yan Baohui's destination. Xu Yongdao got off at Jianqiao Station, heading for the Central Aviation School near Hengtang Village. He put down his book, thinking, "I will seize this opportunity to ask her for her mailing address. Mrs. Yan, I'm getting off at Jianqiao Station. Have you ever been to Jianqiao?" he asked. "No, I only knew the Central Aircraft Manufacturing Plant and the Central Aviation School were in Jianqiao," she said. "Miss Yan is truly a talented woman studying in the United States. You even knew about these two institutions in Jianqiao," he said. "Mr. Xu, you're too kind. I'm ignorant. I only heard from my classmate Li Mu'en that her brother is an engineer at the Central Aircraft Manufacturing Plant and teaches at the Central Aviation School," she said. "Miss Yan, I admire your honesty and humility. Do you know that what I do?" he said. "An officer," she said. "I'm a bomber instructor at the Central Aviation School with the rank of captain," he said. "What kind of instructor?" she asked. "A bomber instructor, teaching students to fly planes and drop bombs on the ground," he said. "Can you fly?" she asked. "How can I be a bomber instructor if I cannot fly?" he said. It must be beautiful to fly a plane, right?" "I've never been on one," she said, her eyes gleaming with admiring. "Soaring through the sky is more than just beautiful. Would you dare to board a bomber?" he asked. "I haven't thought about it, Mr. Xu. Why did you become a bomber instructor?" she said. "Miss Yan, it's a good question. I'm a scholar, just like you. And it's a long story. Did you know the Japanese army is approaching Suiyue, and the war would come to Jiangsu and Zhejiang and beyond any time. The final protocol of the Boxer Rebellion gave Japan the right to station troops in North China, just like the British, American, Russian, and the French powers. 3 months ago, Commander Tashiro Kanishiro led the Japanese garrison troops, the 1st and 2nd Infantry Regiment, along with their tanks, cavalry, engineers, communications, military police, military hospitals, and logistics personnel into North China. The danger of war is approaching China, and the current peace is only temporary. Miss Yan, do you understand now why I became a bomber instructor? He said. I understand. China is going to war with Japan, and you want to fight for your country, he said, subconsciously glancing at the Japanese Ronin near the car door. Miss Yan, did you notice the Nazi flag flying at the Berlin Olympics a few weeks ago? He asked. I read an article about the Nazi flag when I first got on the train, she replied. Have you noticed that, aside from the black emblem, the Nazi flag's colors and patterns are similar to the Japanese Rising Sun flag, both using the red and white color scheme? He said. No, I never thought of any connection between Germany and Japan, she said. Japan was originally stronger than China. Like China, Japan was closed off. Not only was it xenophobic, it also brutally persecuted Christians and prohibited Western missionaries from preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ's salvation in Japan. Western powers forced Japan to sign unequal treaties. After the Meiji Restoration, Japan learned from Western countries, sending army officers primarily to study in France and the United States, and navy officers to study in Britain and Germany. After France's defeat in the Franco-Prussian War, relations between Japan and Germany became closer, and Japan sent the large numbers of navy and army officers to Germany for study and research, he said. I see, Mr. Xu. I have an English weekly with an article that discusses the dangers of war you mentioned. Reading articles like this makes me sad. I do not want to read them anymore. I will give it to you. She stood up, pulled a copy of Miller's Review from her suitcase, and handed it to him. I enjoy reading this kind of stuff. You're welcome. I will take it. Thank you, Miss Yan, he said, taking the magazine and putting it in his suitcase. He thought to himself, my receipt of her magazine means I have earned her favor. Suddenly, he subconsciously recalled a passage he had just read in remembrance of things past. The thought of death, as one might expect, has eclipsed my love, but for a long time the remembrance of love has helped me overcome my fear of death. A wave of sadness washed over him. As a soldier, he was prepared to sacrifice his life for his country, and was not afraid of death. But He longed for true, beautiful love and a happy, warm family. Nearing 30, he had never been in love, and often imagined his ideal wife in his mind, praying for marriage. That year, he had just returned from studying in France and was assigned to Jianqiao Central Aviation School. Someone introduced him to the daughter of a silk merchant in Hangzhou. The daughter of a wealthy family was beautiful, slender, meticulously made up, and dressed in silk and satin. Her conversation was entirely focused on Shanghai's fashionable foreign goods, and she relished discussing Hollywood heroines. She showed no interest in his inner world, focusing solely on his overseas education, the generous benefits he received in the Air Force, and most notably, the villas offered to the families of aviation school instructors. His encounter with the silk merchant's daughter convinced her to abandon blind dates and resolve to find his dreamed wife on his own. He prayed and waited. He believed in the Lord's promise to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and not to desire earthly things, which would follow. Looking at Yan Baohui before him, he wondered, is he the one? Is she the one I've been waiting for all these years? Her conversation, her manners, her demeanors. She's my type, but I wonder if she's still single. He knew that thoughts are silent language. The electrons they emit that can penetrate the souls of those who share his empathy. He worried that his thought might be sending signals that she would receive. Stop thinking about her now. It would be so embarrassing if she knew, he thought. That's all for today. Thank you for listening and watching.